Welcome to the Final Family Podcast, where we talk about this week's nerdiest news. I'm Matt Castle.
And I'm Jessica Castle.
And this week is our great joy and enthusiasm to talk about Star Wars. We're pretty much going to talk about how all of Star Wars is better than Batman v Superman, because those are the only two things that have really happened this week.
Yeah.
Is Star Wars news and then leaked Batman v Superman trailer, which can suck Luke Skywalker's dick. Like, holy crap.
We'll get to that, though.
Yes. Alright, so first up, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch us over to display mode.
Because
where
you cannot watch this trailer often enough.
No. Like, I think I've watched it like 4 more times. And it's not even a full-fledged trailer, right? It's just
still
another teaser.
It's still a teaser.
It's such an epic teaser. Like, this is the new Force Awakens teaser. Came out this week. I think it came out on Friday when, published April 16th. So, yes, Friday.
Yeah.
Thursday, when the day it started. The day Star Wars Celebration started. And they had a big panel. You could actually watch the panel on Twitch. I wasn't sure if you were aware of that. Unfortunately, work is a thing. Epic trailer. It's basically predominantly it's Luke, doing a voiceover or kind of a rehashing of his speech to Leia in Return of the Jedi when he lets her know that she's his sister.
And lots of really kind of interesting hints and possibilities opened up. He talks about his father in the present tense.
Yeah, present tense. I was super surprised by that.
I don't think
we'll be seeing Vader return.
I will actually feel very cheated if we see him return in the physical flesh.
Yeah. Because
I feel like his death was his final moment of redemption. He needs that to remain. But I'm completely okay with him coming back in ghost form as long as it's not mannequin, Skywalker. As long as it's
mannequin, ruiner of Star Wars.
Really is. But I found that really fascinating that he's talking about his father in the present tense.
Yeah.
And then
there's
them finally being like, my sister has it,
and she gets a lightsaber.
Well, we don't know for sure that it's her hands.
So it looks like Leia is getting a lightsaber, right? We can hope Leia is finally getting a lightsaber. On top of that, and this is spoilery territory, okay?
All of this is spoilery territory.
We're all super spoilery here for both the Clone Wars cartoon as well as Star Wars Rebels, which ended season 1. Yeah. And we're going to talk about that more later, actually, because there was another trailer for that. But if you look, the person, because you can't tell who it is, they're feminine. I will say they're feminine hands. The person handing Leia the lightsaber, or possibly handing a lightsaber when he's talking about Leia, has orange skin. And who do we know that has orange skin?
Ahsoka.
So happy. Ahsoka. For those of you who haven't watched, Ahsoka Tano is Anakin's or Darth Vader's apprentice before he's Vader, right? Yeah. It's throughout the Clone Wars.
Clone Wars cartoon. Now available on Netflix.
Yeah, available on Netflix. Like, there's literally no reason to go watch it.
No reason to go watch it?
No, every reason to go watch it. I'm sorry. It's fabulous.
Very confused.
It's like I'm going to rewatch it with Jessica because she actually hasn't watched it end to end.
Pieces. I've never watched.
And oh my god, just so much win. I got chills when I saw Han and Chewie.
And that opening with the destroyer in in the ground. That's
Did you see people likening some of the cracks in the destroyer to Clint Eastwood's face? Little did we know, it's the good, the bad, and the ugly destroyer.
But one of the things that I love about this teaser more so than that first one is just because the first one, because people were like, a black stormtrooper and this and that and the first one kind of I wouldn't even say controversial, but it was just kind of fans. Yeah. But this one has united all of Star Wars nerddom.
Oh my God.
In like a kumbaya moment of joy and happiness that only George Lucas could destroy now. You know, and luckily he has nothing to do with this movie. So let's hope.
I'm sure he has something to do with this movie, but not as much as he's had to do with the previous movies.
Not enough that he can, because I will contend that Lucas's best work was when he had people that he had to answer to.
Right.
You know, and the prequels, you know, that's what you get when you unleash George Lucas upon the world. You get the prequels. And
because let's be real, that man is like realistically just an idiot savant. Like when he has great moments, they're great. Yeah. But when basically everything else is just terrible.
Yeah. So this trailer, I mean, you know, it's got me super excited. And as a person who really intensely hates the prequels, and
like Jessica intensely hates the prequels, like more so than I do.
Yeah.
Like I can really,
because
like episode 1 I hate, right? We can all get behind hating Jar Jar.
Let me explain.
Okay.
Let me explain my hatred. Not only do I hate it as a fan, because they're just not good follow-up movies.
Because midichlorians and all that. I also hate it as someone who considers themselves a storyteller. Like there is flat out terrible storytelling in these, and to have the availability of, like, to have the money he had for these movies and to not be able to tell a story well, all of us like, want to hear, that have been written for him for years technically. I mean, in the expanded universe.
So it was a betrayal as a fan, and then as someone who crafts. I don't know if I'd call it a betrayal so much as a huge letdown. It's a betrayal.
You can't betray someone by accident. I have no doubt in my mind whatsoever that George Lucas thought they were going to be good. He probably thinks they're good. He's wrong. But can't betray somebody without intent. He didn't go out, I'm going to destroy the franchise that I and everyone else loves.
He went, I'm going to destroy the franchise and they're going to spend money on
anyway.
It. Like I have them where I want them. It was a social
experiment for George Lucas. That's what it was.
He's an evil sociologist.
Evil sociologist. Perhaps.
But this trailer like has me super excited. We were gonna go see it anyway, but now I'm like, we need to find a babysitter for the midnight showing.
Absolutely, like that's I'm going to the midnight show, and I don't know what you're doing. You better find a babysitter.
But
are they on pre-sale yet? I don't know.
Probably not. I doubt it. But
we're gonna have a marathon like the day before. I'm gonna take off Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, and we're gonna go see Star Wars. And that's gonna be Ginger. Like I was gonna cave. I was gonna cave. Our daughter is 3 years old and she has not seen a movie in a theater yet. No. And Star Wars is gonna be her first. Period. End of sentence. I was there. Nope, it is. That's it. I was going to cave before.
I want us to see it first.
Absolutely. We're going to go see it first, and then we're going to go see it again. Okay. And we're going to make her be quiet, and she's going to learn appropriate theater things.
No, what we're going to do is you're going to take off a Tuesday afternoon, and we're going to go to the kids' show.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Because local theaters in our area on Tuesdays.
At like 2 p.m. or whatever.
Certain theaters, the volume is not quite as loud. The lights are partially up. You're not stared at ugly if your child, if your child is like, what's that? Who's that? What? So it's nice. It's nice.
So, I was going to cave to, there's a couple of other movies, I can't even remember now what the heck they are, because Star Wars is, the Minions movie. I was going to cave and let her go see the Minions movie first. Nope, not anymore. Star Wars. That's it. This is going to be so good. Sorry. If J.J. Abrams fucks this up, man, I might actually have to, stalk him and kill him. Just, at this point, it is his to lose. I desperately have been trying to keep from being super hyped about this movie.
This trailer's making it hard.
And it's so hard. It's even before the trailers came out, when they did their charity thing and a practical puppet walked by, I still squeezed like a little girl because practical effects. Please, more.
The Rolly droid?
Yeah.
He's a puppet.
I know.
He's not CG.
He was at Star Wars Celebration on stage with everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want one, please. Can I have one? Thank you. Actually, you know what? No, I still want my R2 that I can control with a remote control or something.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get Ginger that one.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, whatever.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, we'll get the kids the little droid, and I'll get my droid. And then, I don't know, you can have C-3PO. He's a punk anyway.
Love you too.
He'd be happy to serve you drinks. It's got to happen for something.
I wouldn't mind having a butler.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone has, taken this down frame by frame, and there's nothing really we can say to add to this other than it's awesome. Yeah.
All right. So moving on to more Star Wars news.
More Star Wars.
Star Wars Rebels, which is absolutely fabulous. It started last year.
Very good.
Basically, it follows Kanan and Hera and their crew, along with I can't remember, Ezra, who is a young thief, basically and as you knew it as soon as you saw him. He's a young kid. Yeah. He's totally going to be a Jedi.
Yeah.
Because you can't have a Star Wars without a Jedi. Yep. Apparently. I'm okay with this. I think I can see where a lot of people are probably not super okay with this, but
I think. Okay, anyway, if you do not have, it's on Disney XD. If you do not have cable, you can get it on Amazon Prime. That's how we're watching it.
You can also get it on a Sling TV. Sling TV. The service Sling TV, which is a streaming thing. We talked about it at some point. Actually has Disney XD on there too.
Oh, okay. So there you go. So there's ways for you to catch up with it. Season 1 wrapped up pretty recently.
Yeah, it was 3 or 4 weeks ago.
And then they released the Season 2 trailer. Season 1, for me, it felt very much like a kid-friendly Star Wars Firefly.
Oh, yeah. No.
It very much, at times we were even going, well, this guy's Jane.
That guy's Jane. And this guy's Captain Mal.
Zoe.
Yep.
And,
and just you can pick them off, man.
Yeah. It's not like a direct one-to-one correlation, which I like, but it's that feeling of people building a new family and fighting against, a small band fighting against, an insurmountable, they're fighting against the Empire.
Right.
I thought it was kind of interesting that they chose to, call themselves insurgents and being a cell. Mm-hmm. I thought that was kind of, an interesting take or interesting language to use because that's not something that people would normally use. But in the eyes of the Empire, they are a terrorist cell and they are insurgents.
And something to actually note here, according to Disney / the people who are running Star Wars now, this is canon.
Yeah,
this is stuff that, all the books and stuff that have been written in the years between Star Wars, they're all considered basically the expanded universe. The EU is what a lot of people refer to it as.
And they're not canon.
They're non-canonical books or games or, everything.
Yeah. But Rebels
Rebels is, as well as Clone Wars. As well as basically, if it has been on TV, it's canon, and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
But they've also got this whole new book thing happening with Episode 7 coming out, and they've actually got a prequel to Star Wars Rebels about how Kanan and Hera meet, which is actually I'm reading right now and is quite good so far. It's pretty short; it's only 350 pages, so it's kind of a nice break from Game of Thrones.
2 million pages per book.
Yeah. Which I know is only going to get worse.
But they released a season 2 trailer, which we have been
showing.
Very exciting. And spoilers.
Yeah.
Spoilers. Just in case you didn't get it, some characters from the Clone Wars cartoon,
specifically Ahsoka, and Captain Rex.
Ahsoka and Captain Rex, and a couple more of the clones.
If you're not aware, you don't plan on watching, Captain Rex is actually Anakin and Ahsoka's clone general or captain, effectively. One of the things I really liked about the Clone Wars is that you actually get to know very personally some of the clones, and there are actually episodes in the Clone Wars where
it's just
the clones, and it's so good it's still so good, and you become really attached to the clones as characters too, which you could see being kind of difficult, right? I mean, like, there's millions of clones, but you, like, I got teary for joy when I heard Captain Rex talk. Like standing in the middle of my living room,
and I witnessed it. I'm not sure if I'm going to embarrass you on the internet. I hope you're ready for it. I'm not sure you even realized
did I clench my butt?
No, you went and like clapped. You were like, and then you looked at me, and that you were so. I have to say, I loved seeing you overcome with such joy.
So good.
But it's and I feel, if you are a Star Wars fan and you've been like, oh, those are kid shows, I really think that Clone Wars and Rebels both really actually do add to the universe. I highly recommend you watch them.
They make the prequel. Okay, Clone Wars A makes the prequels so much better. Period. They it's a whole other layer to, like,
they retcon some of the questionable stuff.
The midichlorian shit goes away, sort of.
They flesh out Anakin where his actions actually make a little bit more sense.
Like his whole the Jedi Council is working against me thing actually makes a lot more sense over the course of the Clone Wars, where he's not, being given the big picture, and he gets frustrated with not being given the big picture, and you can see kind of the Senator, what's his face, Palpatine.
Yeah.
Is that how? Yeah, he's Palpatine. When he's not the Emperor, he's Darth Sidious. That's what it is. I couldn't remember if Palpatine was his Darth name. Anyway, where Senator Palpatine is, like, really kind of grooming him in a couple of episodes, and he's like, really messing with his mind, so it makes a lot more sense.
It does.
In episode 3, when he's like, I trust Senator Palpatine over the Jedi Council now.
And I feel like you can watch the prequels.
It also makes him and Amidala way less creepy.
Yeah. You can watch the prequels without Clone Wars and still, get the whole story.
Right.
And I feel like that's what they're doing with Rebels. Like, you're not going to have to watch it to enjoy this new movie, but I feel like it's going to add a depth and add some and Rebels, in the timeline,
Rebels is actually between episode 3 and episode 4, just so we're clear.
But I feel like I really would be surprised if there was not some kind of link, however tenuous.
I mean, I would love to see, like, Kanan and Ezra, like, in older format, obviously, show up in episode 7. And, like, Luke has found them after years. They're helping him, restore the Jedi Order, so it's not just him.
Because I still contend. I mean, I know Yoda was a master,
and Ahsoka, obviously.
But it makes sense that's out there somewhere.
Right,
there's someone.
Well, even in extended universe, like Heir of the Empire or whatever, there are Force users out in the world still who use the Force and are just not associated with the Jedi Order, basically.
So I feel like it would make sense for there to be some
link. When Yoda goes to Dagobah, the only other Jedi he knows about is Obi-Wan and Luke and Leia. And obviously, Darth Vader.
But the season 2 trailer has me, like, super excited. I can't wait.
It probably wouldn't be exciting for anyone who hasn't actually watched Clone Wars.
If you haven't watched the first season, it's not. You're going to be like, "Oh, what's the big deal?"
Who cares? Clearly, Jessica wasn't nearly as excited as I was because she doesn't really know who the hell Captain Rex is.
Well, I mean, I know who he is, but I don't have that. I don't have that.
You don't have that, like, attachment.
I don't have the hours of watching him.
Yeah, like, this is issue. I watched 6 seasons of this with our daughter. Like, every Saturday morning for, like, 3 months, we'd get up and at least watch 1 episode, if not 5. Right? Just because we're raising a 3-year-old couch potato. But at least she's a couch potato for Star Wars and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which I can get behind. Parenting done right.
Ish.
Right.
Ish.
No.
The other Star Wars trailer that was big news this week was the Battlefront trailer.
Which there was a series of, I'm sure everyone knows there was a series of Battlefront games, basically FPS, military shooters in the Star Wars universe. What I think is great about this particular footage is it's high action. It's actually put out by DICE, which I believe is the Battlefield group, Battlefield developer, which means the shooting mechanics will be solid.
Oh, yeah.
It's action-packed. All of the footage in the trailer is from the game engine.
Yeah,
which it's probably it's still pre-rendered, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure.
But it's beautiful.
If
dude.
this is still,
the
game
shots,
engine making this,
there are some shots where I'm like, is that
a person?
A person? Is that a person? Because it feels like a person.
Yeah.
And just like some of the gameplay they're alluding to, kind of, Titanfall-y, where you'd still be, after the AT-Ts. I can't remember what the two-legged ones are, but the walkers, you could, they'd still be. I don't remember either. I remember the AT-AT is the four-legged one.
I can't remember. Okay, anyway.
But yeah, like they have Y-wings in it. They have AT-ATs in it. Because that's what we're going to call them. AT-ATs. Fuck it. Who cares? It looks like it's going to be they're probably going to have a dash of Titanfall in there where you can call in reinforcements. Some of the footage actually alludes to space combat, which would be super exciting.
Yeah.
Vader shows up right here. He's actually in the end of the trailer, which to me alludes to maybe lightsaber capabilities for fighting, which would be fun as hell. Boba Fett's in it. Boba Fett's in the trailer.
They were kind of like, what all can we fit into this trailer? To make the
Millennium
squeal.
Falcon's in it. I can't imagine there's not going to be space combat.
If you're
as well as jetpacky type combat to help movements and that kind of stuff. Level design could be really I don't know. Level design could be really boring because if you think about a lot of Star Wars sets, they're really flat and just have a shitload of obstacles. Whereas what you want with a jetpacky kind of thing would be more verticality and multi-layered platforms and that kind of stuff. But then you think about maybe Coruscant. There would be cool levels you could play at with Coruscant where
this is true.
You're jumping around on different buildings. They're really big buildings. Maybe you're jumping on moving speeders or something to that effect. There hasn't been any tell about there being a single player experience at all. I don't really know if it'll be just kind of mission stuff or if there will be added story or if it will be canonized story in any way. They haven't really said. There's no way really to know at the moment.
Right now it's like, hey, look at this. Prepare to spend your money because it's available for pre-order right now, I believe.
And as against pre-order as I have been after last year, I think maybe that I will be pre-ordering this one. Because Star Wars, basically. May the 4th is my holiday. It's my favorite holiday. And I don't get off for it. It's very disappointing. Aww. Stupid Christmas.
And
May the 4th. That's in 2 weeks. We can talk about more Star Wars thing.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what we could talk about on the weekend of May the 4th? What? We could talk about that machete cut that we like so much.
We can.
Let's do that. Okay. So, we're planning on video. Anyway, it's okay.
A teaser for what's to come.
Yay. Maybe.
And they have found proof that love of Star Wars transcends both time and space and all that.
So
apparently some researchers, and it's one of those things that it's just a funny coincidence.
Archaeologically legit. Yoda.
Found. Let's see. Let me find the names. Damien Kempf and Maria L. Gilbert. From the British Library's Medieval Manuscript blog. They were looking through a manuscript of, it's actually the story of Samson from the Bible. is what's going on around it. The illustration is not deep, but it's from the story. It's
Samson
and there's just a little dude that looks like Yoda, and they were like, "Hey, this is awesome! Let's show the internet." And so they showed the internet, and just the timing of it, it's perfect. Yoda, love for Yoda transcends time and space. Yeah. But Yoda has some weird hands going on in the picture. So.
All right. So we have to talk about it, no matter how much we don't want to talk about it. I'm not even going to bother putting it up to see because it's not worth seeing. I don't know. It's not worth seeing. You should probably go look it up, but I'm not going to.
Just put it up.
No, I haven't even looked it up yet.
Okay.
Well, hang on.
So
okay. I can do this.
Okay.
I can do this.
After all of and I have to say, I actually feel sorry for the company. Not that I think it's going to hurt them monetarily, but it's going to hurt them internet buzz-wise. But after all of the joy and the happiness from the Star Wars trailers this week, they were supposed to release it in a couple of days, I think on the 20th or the 22nd or something like that.
It's supposed to be next week.
But a shaky cam leaked version of the Superman versus Batman Dawn of Justice, longest, silliest name ever, leaked.
Yeah.
And the leak was, like I said, shaky cam, very dark, couldn't see anything, it was terrible. And then, so they went ahead and released the HD, and it was not shaky, but it was still kind of dark and terrible.
Yeah, I mean,
it was so underwhelming.
Like,
it's just like, it's one of those things. I know I'm going to see it. I know they're going to get my money, but now I'm just kind of disappointed that they're getting my money.
I might even enjoy it. Like, we both actually really liked Man of Steel.
Yes.
I thought it was a good movie. I didn't think it was very much fun.
No, it wasn't.
But it didn't have that, like, that hell yeah moment, where you're like the little baby, and you're like, and so, like, this is definitely not going to have that hell yeah moment either.
Yeah.
Like, it's.
Well, I mean, and the thing is, like, even the Nolan films, which are definitely films, not, movies.
Right.
They still had a moment. They still had moments where you were like...
Okay, let me interrupt you for one second. The bat suit, like the metal bat suit that he fights... Yeah, the armor is like the highlight of the whole thing. Yeah. It's super cool looking. The weird synthesized voice thing is a little disappointing.
Yeah.
But he delivers the line straight from, Dark Knight Returns. And yeah.
But my problem with this is if we're breaking away from the Nolan, and that's like a different universe, which they've basically said the Nolan movies are standalone; they're not part of the DC movie universe.
Because Batman would never retire.
Yeah, no. If this is our introduction to Batman, the story that they are telling is not going to have the emotional impact that they want it to be.
No, like the reason that The Dark Knight Returns is good is because it's based on
Dark Knight Returns graphic novel.
Is a graphic novel by Frank Miller, I believe. And that movie's called Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, Rises. Sorry. Confused.
Dark Knight Returns is a graphic novel, just like Jessica said. Basically, it takes place in the distant future, where all of the superheroes have been, not unmasked, but asked to stop. Right, except for Superman, who is literally just the USA's like nuclear deterrent, and that's it. And so like Batman, redons his cape and cowl and starts fighting crime in Gotham, and like the U.S. government sends Superman, and he's like, you better stop, you better knock it off. I'm gonna have to come back here, and we're gonna have a problem. I'm going to go to the Middle East and solve that problem right now. And when I get back, you better not have that on.
Yeah.
And when he comes back, he obviously has it on.
And stuff ensues.
And so they're basing basically this movie on that.
Yeah, this is like kind of, sort of, not really. Because the emotional impact of that story comes from the fact that Batman and Superman have been friends and allies for decades at this point.
Like throughout the final battle between Batman and Superman, Superman is like, please don't make me do this. Please don't make me do this. Just take the damn thing off. This doesn't have to happen.
Yeah. And that's where the gut punch of the story comes from, is these are two... I mean... Batman and Superman are, best buds.
They're like best buds. They're BFFs, dude.
Yeah. They can, they can be sad on Mother's Day and Father's Day together, That was a bad joke.
A terrible
that was
person.
a bad joke.
You were a terrible person.
I am. But, so
besides,
to
it's
have
only
this...
Father's Day.
That's true.
Clark still has his mommy.
Well, I was just thinking about how, it's all daddy issues and not mommy issues. But
I was a boy, and now I'm a bat.
We need to link that in the comments too.
Oh yes, we'll put that down in the description below.
Yeah. But so for it to suddenly be like, hey, here's this rich white dude who can buy a metal suit because he's paranoid about an alien,
right?
Doesn't have anywhere near the emotional impact, and I really I'm hoping that the rumor mill has been correct about the screenplay, because early rumors were that it was only going to be the first third that they were against each other, and then they were going to realize it was Lex Luthor manipulating them, and then they're going to go after him. And I really
the whole false god graffiti in the trailer really kind of lends itself to a Luthor kind of thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I hope they don't I know they're not going to do an origin of Batman, obviously, right? But I hope they don't also be... I hope they're also not just going to say, okay, well... he picks up Batman now. I hope it's him. He's been well established as Batman.
I think that's
when Superman comes along to the scene.
I think that's what we're kind of getting from the voiceover that Jeremy Iron gives in the trailer about first there's rage and first there and it turns him in cruel, and I think that's kind of the hint, this anger and this fear that he feels for Superman. You better watch out, this is gonna take you to to a place that is not you are not cruel,
right? So
I'm hoping that he's had the cape on for a while, but I read the best comment on IO9, I think it was, and someone was like, I just wanted this trailer to end with Wonder Woman swooping in and bashing their heads together and be like, dumbasses, this is all Luthor, let's get him. And that's kind of what I'm hoping happens. I'm please.
But all the illusions we've got at this point is Dark Knight Returns, and that's it. And it's not... we don't know anything about how Batman is going to be. We don't know how anything about Superman is going to be.
And this
they're literally just putting up the setting effectively.
And I part of me has to keep reminding myself this is just the first teaser. They still have a year and a half of marketing to go. But I really feel... I mean, this movie is going to make tons of money anyway. It doesn't matter what they do.
Yeah, even if people are just going to hate watch it.
The teaser trailer could have been Superman and Batman doing armpit farts, and this movie would still make a ton of money.
I would be happier with that trailer.
There you go.
Same.
I just
bros being bros, dude. Superman and Batman knocking back a couple beers and doing arm farts and picking on Wonder Woman. Yeah. I'd be down for that. That would make me happier at this moment.
I feel like this trailer was a big marketing misstep.
Yeah.
And I feel
like this whole... I'm not gonna lie. I feel like this whole movie is gonna be a big misstep. Just the whole damn thing. I don't know.
It does make me very nervous. And one of the things... And I read this months ago when the Batman cartoon on Cartoon Network got canceled because it wasn't getting good ratings. And the whole article was like, how do you make a Batman cartoon that doesn't get good ratings from kids? It's Batman. And the main thrust of the article, and I wish I might look it up and put it in the comments. If not, sorry. But the whole thrust of the article and some of the commentary with it was that DC is, with their bent with the movies, this is not a family movie.
No,
you don't take your kid to see the Nolan Batman films. You don't take your kids to see Man of Steel. But you sure as hell take your kids to see Marvel, Age of Ultron and Iron Man and Guardians of the Galaxy.
I guess and I know it's not a summer blockbuster, but it is effectively a summer blockbuster that's not during the summer.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it will be at all fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like, at all. Like, it does not look fun.
This is going to be a gritty examination of
human beings,
power, and how human beings react to something new and fearful and strange. And it looks like this is a movie. Just like we
react to everything else. We try
to
blow
kill it
up
with fire. But it looks like it's...
Hashtag cynicism.
And I'm not saying that a superhero movie cannot have meaningful moments about the human connection. Like, I have to say, okay, if you haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy, shame on you.
The statutes of limitations is long past.
But that moment when they're crashing to the ground and Groot is sacrificing himself and Rocket's going, no, don't do it, and he goes, we are Groot. Fucking, I'm sitting there like just crying, not quite sobbing, but almost there in the movie theater, and that's a meaningful moment. That, like, hey, family is where you find it. Family is what you make of it. Everyone can find a circle to protect them. And that's an important message, especially to nerdy kids who maybe do not have that family in that circle yet. So that's an important message that was not ham-fisted. That was not, and I feel...
And it was bled in with huge amounts of comedy and entertainment value. Like, it doesn't have to be dark and gritty to have a message. Like, it just doesn't.
And you can have these moments and you can have these messages, and you can still... The X-Men movie, the reboot, First Class and oh my God, I've forgotten the name of the second one.
Not Apocalypse. That's news I saw this week.
Anyway, but those are not lighthearted fare. Those have some really intense scenes.
But there's also some light stuff in there that keeps it
fun to watch. They're still enjoyable, and I feel like DC is just missing the mark on this. And I don't know.
Well, like, they want to produce films and not movies, right? And there's, like, that's my thing, right? There's films and there's movies, right? Birdman is a film.
Yeah.
Pacific Rim is a movie.
Yeah.
It has no real storytelling value whatsoever.
Yeah, basically.
There's not really great acting in it at all. But it was a shitload of fun to watch. I would watch it repeatedly. Like, I could watch that movie twice in a day, for sure, with no problem.
It can still be a movie and still have good storytelling and good acting.
Yes.
But
But that's not an expectation, right? But what I want when I go to a comic book movie is a movie.
Yeah.
I want it to be fun.
I feel like they just need to hand the reins over to whoever does their animated movies.
Yeah, because their animated movies DC really animated movies are fabulous. Like, if you haven't watched them, you're doing yourself a disservice. Yeah, they're really good.
So when the Wonder Woman movie sucks, just go watch the animated Wonder Woman.
The animated Wonder Woman, we have that. It's actually really good too.
It's really good. It's excellent.
All right, so we're gonna move on to our last bit of news. And actually, I didn't put this in the schedule because I just remembered it just now. Olivia Munn got cast as Psylocke.
Oh yeah, I
think she's got a really great look for it. I think she really proved her acting chops in Newsroom.
Before Newsroom, I would have been horrified by this. But Newsroom...
Well, like, she's got that nerd cred, too. I'll give it. She's got the nerd cred, but she's also got some acting chops. And in Newsroom, she does a great job. It's an HBO show, basically, about cable television news, which is an excellent show.
Or the 2 seasons we watched.
We only watched one.
You only watched one?
Anyway, HBO, expensive.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I was excited about that, actually. I think she's got a great look.
Yeah,
I think she can.
I think she can pull that off.
Yeah.
And Psylocke. No, well, she's hand to hand, isn't she?
Yeah, she's a very hand to hand. She's a ninja. Yeah. She's a ninja with psionic blades.
Psionic, yeah. So that's the only thing I'm kind of worried about. I've never seen her do anything like physical, but stunt doubles and that kind of stuff.
Choreography can be learned,
and especially since she's not like the main character of the movie,
right?
She's.
I still think she's a good actress. Frankly, I'm into her. I think she's quite good. Yeah. I actually kind of hated her when she was on G4 because
G4 is a disservice to women.
Yeah, basically. Except for Morgan Webb, I think she had some integrity, and I liked her quite a lot, actually. I have no idea what she's doing now. It's kind of disappointing. Anyway.
Okay.
All right, so TV. All right, dear. I'll leave it to you to
First off, speaking of HBO being expensive.
Oh, yes.
We did our free week of HBO Now.
Month, 30 days. Haha.
No, it's a week.
No.
Yeah,
really?
It's a week. Oh. Yeah, you're going to have to find somebody with an iPhone.
We don't have iPhone products.
We don't have iProducts, so we're having to do the workaround to get the HBO Now.
I have to call my sister again.
Yeah. So Game of Thrones premiered last week. Got a new episode coming up tomorrow that I'm pretty excited about in the upcoming.
All right. Well, they oversell the upcoming.
Arya's going to be in it.
Yeah, that's enough.
Enough for me. The premieres of the show
have always been kind of lackluster.
Other than the first episode of the first season.
Yeah.
First episode of the first season was excellent. Other than that, it's
Plus
just
you got that great laugh. It's Sean Bean. He's totally going to die.
Little did you know. But it just kind of setting a lot of pieces in place. Yeah. I did really like that they started with the flashback of Cersei's prophecy, because that's one thing that they've skipped over in the books a lot. They've skipped over
all of the prophecies.
And I feel like you cannot understand Cersei as a character without understanding this prophecy.
Right.
And I kind of wish that they had gone with the other part of her prophecy, about the reason she hates Tyrion so much, about like one of her brothers. I can't remember exactly what the prophecy is.
I can't either. And I've read it recently.
Yeah. But I feel like that was a very good choice to include that, because this season, from everything I've heard from the showrunners, this is going to be Cersei's season, and if you've read the books, you know what's coming. I'm excited about it. I feel like Cersei, especially in the latter half, the first couple of books, she's just an evil bitch. And I feel like the longer you go and the more you understand her motivation, I find her absolutely fascinating, because she really is trying her 7 gods honest best to do what's right for her kids. And she she screws it up so badly.
The funny thing is that she, as a character, she doesn't grow whatsoever. But as you get like a backstory and they peel back her motives and stuff, she actually does become quite a bit more complex.
She does.
And it's not even it's like reverse character growth or something. It's like, oh, by the way, this is why she does all this crazy shit. Yeah. Like, that's basically half of the fourth book.
And I really I find that she and Sansa both are characters that did not really care for at the beginning of the series.
Yeah.
And just as they've gone, like, I am convinced, Matt and I argue about this all the time, I'm convinced Sansa's going to be the queen that takes Cersei down.
Nope.
She's going to become queen of the North and rule this shit. And, you know,
it's gonna be Dany, dude. It's gotta be Dany. Like, I don't know.
I think it's
things have been much more straightforward than that, is all I'm saying.
But my thing is Dany has to come. Dany has to. If Dany doesn't come to Westeros, this whole series has been for naught, because it's a song of fire and ice, and the fire has to fucking come to Westeros.
But all the ice is dead. Just saying.
But I think when it comes to, like, direct Cersei, this bitch is gonna kill you, it's gonna be Sansa instead of Dany, because I feel like she deserves it and she needs it, and I need it as a reader. I need Sansa to get some of hers. Like, she just, my God, poor Sansa. Like,
yeah.
But so we argue about that, and you can tell I'm very passionate about it.
I'm fairly passive about the whole thing.
Matt doesn't care.
Yeah.
I don't care even a little bit.
Well, I've been reading these books too goddamn long at this point. Like, the fourth book is such a trial that, like, it literally made me care less about the show.
Hindsight. Hindsight being 2020. And I don't know what it's called, internet, but it's out there. Research it. If you're looking to read the books, the fourth and the fifth book
take place in the same timeline.
But they're split by geography.
Yeah.
And there are things you can get. There are reading lists, basically, where they have combined the two books. Yeah. And hindsight being 2020, I really wish that's how I had read the books.
Humorously enough, splitting it geographically means that all the sucky characters that you don't care about are in the fourth book, and all the characters you love are in the fifth book.
Yeah.
But by the time you get through the fourth book, you're just kind of like,
burnt. You're just burnt.
It's super
out.
burnt.
Burn it.
Which is why I'm totally reading that Star Wars Rebels book right now.
You need a break. But I'm excited for this season. There's a lot of interesting stuff. I'm intrigued and interested to see how they're going to change from the book, because they've basically, the showrunners have admitted, hey, we're going to start outpacing the book here really soon.
Yeah.
They have basically outpaced the Brienne storyline already. You know.
Have they? Well, no, they haven't.
Just almost.
They haven't done to where that thing where she goes to the place with the.
I know what you're talking about. But when they've cut a major, we're trying to be spoiler free. If you haven't read the
just
books.
For this though, not Star Wars at all.
Not Star Wars at all.
But this is stuff that hasn't happened on television yet.
Exactly.
So I won't spoil things that are in a book that nobody wants to read, including myself, and having already read it.
But since they have omitted a certain character,
a
lady. Has a harsh demeanor.
I haven't gotten to that part at all. Okay. So I haven't gotten to that. I'm just talking about that. I'm talking about the other thing entirely.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm glad.
Way to not be spoiler free for your husband.
You don't know what I'm talking about.
Oh, family.
Okay, so looking forward to this season.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to this season as well. And
it's good that
we'll get our HBO Now subscription sorted out and actually on our own iTunes account and all that good stuff.
Which it's good that this is picking up, because Flash, our good standby that we talk about every week, is gonna be reaching
over soon.
The season's coming to a close very soon, isn't it?
It doesn't matter. It's already been picked up for season 2.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'll get I love that show so much. It's like I don't know why the people who are running the damn the movie section of DC aren't taking all their cues from the guys who are running the TV section of DC.
I know, because
at this point, I'm even looking forward to the Supergirl show. Yeah. Even on CBS, which we may have to purchase while the Supergirl is on or something.
Yeah.
Because it's just such a happy show.
It is.
So, okay, what happened on The Flash this week? The major plot point is basically Barry is
Ray and Felicity come to town.
Ray and Felicity come to town.
To help with the Atom suit.
To help with the Atom suit. To get help with the Atom suit from Cisco.
I loved the Cisco-Ray interplay. I loved it. That they just, were immediate best buds.
So good. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Favorite
line of the show, though, have to say, Felicity going, yeah, it's like I'm dating Barry with the body of Ollie.
Yeah.
I love that.
You never heard me say that. It was good stuff.
Favorite line of the and of course, the Superman.
Oh yeah, it's a bird. Is that a bird? No, it's a plane. No, that's my boyfriend. Yeah. It was a good line. Yeah, this is all the Superman nods are really funny.
Yeah,
and I love the guy who plays Ray. He's just a happy dude.
He's a good. I love him.
So anyway, the show is actually about Barry having misgivings with Dr. Wells because he knows he's the Reverse Flash.
He's finally figured it out.
And Cisco is having flashbacks about alternate timeline.
Which I'm nervous about that. That has now made me nervous that they might actually try and kill Cisco.
They're not going to kill him. But if he leaves that show, it's going to be to go with the Atom.
That's true.
Into his whatever spinoff show. That's true. I am okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
I still love Cisco and his whole naming the villains thing.
Yeah.
And they even mock that a little bit.
Yeah.
As they continue. They've done that before, but it's. Yeah. I love that Cisco names all the villains to the accuracy of the comics. I love that. Yeah. It's one of my favorite things. They're just embracing the camp of the whole thing, and they're having fun with it, and it's just so good.
The one part that's not fun, though, of the show.
But, of course, there's always the one lackluster bit of The Flash, and that would be...
Iris!
She's fucking terrible. Holy crap.
Just putting it out there.
We're from here on out, we're going to create a verb. This word will be called, we use it currently. We just haven't used it on the show, I don't think. She is CW and shit up with her.
Yes.
Just like Lana Lang from Smallville. Just unneeded drama bullshit that doesn't make sense to anybody ever. And it's just drama to be drama. Just let it go. Or, why don't they, okay. I want to know.
Okay, the conflict on the show is that she's upset because her boyfriend is keeping something from her and doesn't want to talk about it, and he seems kind of distant. But he's a homicide detective. Let's just put it out there.
And the secret he's keeping is Barry's secret.
Yeah.
So, okay, Eddie's not good at that.
No,
Eddie's not a good liar.
He's a terrible liar.
So, but at the end of the day, he's a homicide detective. Maybe he doesn't want to, and actually Barry tells Iris exactly that. Yeah. I don't want to, I don't want you to be part of the dark, aspect of my life, which I can't imagine is good in any, I've never known a homicide detective. Frankly, I don't think I want to, man. Not that I wouldn't want to know a homicide detective, but I wouldn't want to be a homicide detective.
That would be a hard life.
It would be very hard.
Life.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Seeing that much death all the time.
It's hard enough for me to watch the news and read the news about the terrible things that happen. I cannot imagine having to go and see this in person. So I feel like, and she has this little temper tantrum where she's like, I know that you're a cop and you see things that you don't want me to know about, but we shouldn't keep secrets from each other and blah blah blah. And to me, that kind of temper tantrum is the mark of a very insecure,
stupid person.
Insecure and I've lost my word.
Immature,
thank you. They're immature as a person and insecure in their relationship because
at least that makes sense. She is she doesn't have stability with the relationship because she loved Barry.
So that's that. But see, they're not. The writers aren't writing it that way.
I understand.
And
they're not.
The problem. No. That's the problem.
Maybe that is what their intention is eventually, but they're not writing it in a way that is.
This is pop psychology 101 or whatever, but everyone has secrets and secret thoughts that they keep to themselves because that's part of what makes you. That's part of your identity. And to be like, you have to tell me everything that goes through your head and why you're acting weird every minute of the day is to say, hey, I don't trust you to not be screwing around, or I don't trust you to not be...
She even brings that up.
Yeah.
She brings that up. She's like, is he cheating on me?
Yeah.
No.
I don't trust you to be honest about your feelings when they're important. And that's just... That's what a high school girl says to her high school boyfriend. There is no way you can use that kind of language and have that argument and not come off as a high schooler to me. Yeah. You know, like not... You just can't, because as an adult, you reach a certain time where you're like, I don't really need to know everything that's going on through your head, and that's cool, you know? And it just,
So, okay, enough about Iris. Let's talk about the other high point. We got Queen Bee as the villain. I was
excited about that.
Played by the girl who plays Beth, whose name I don't know. Beth from The Walking Dead.
We just learned her character's name, so her real name.
We actually haven't been watching the last season of The Walking Dead. I don't know if she's like dead in that season, and that's why she had time to film this. I mean, it was still pretty short. She wasn't on camera a whole lot.
Yeah.
But she did a really good job. I thought she was a very sinister. I liked the kind of techie approach
I was just about
took.
To say that because Queen Bee is one of those that can get.
Well, like
really
I remember she's like weirdly
really...
cyber. Like I feel like I remember her being cybernetic in the books. In some like cyborgy and like having robotic bits.
I thought it was like aliens, or I can't remember what she was.
I don't think she had an alien thing going on.
Anyway.
I don't know. I don't know the origin of Queen Bee. I just don't. But like I remember her having like at least in DC Universe, like we played a lot of DCUO, which is a great game and free. And she's very like she's clearly like a cyborgy, and like you know, but she's still controlling bees. I would have liked to see her control people because that's part of like her power set. I think it would have been neater to like I don't know, have her get away and then you know when she comes back she's controlling people and like the first ploy was to get the other roboticists that helped her get out of the way, and so when she comes back she's taking control of people, right? Because she's effectively like I can't remember a mythological character that kind of, you know, whispers in the ears of leaders and takes over countries and stuff.
But I think I liked the spin that they put on her.
It was good.
Because it's one of those things that Queen Bee could come across very campy.
It gave Felicity a nemesis.
Which she enjoyed. But yeah, I love Felicity. So anytime she's... And I feel like... I enjoy that they have had her come to the Flash a couple of times.
I'm really glad it's not super awkward. Like there's like previous love interesty stuff there.
Yeah, like they're both adults and they've moved on and they're, you know, there was nothing weird or awkward. It was just like, hey, good friend, you know, it's good to see you. I like that. It was drama free.
Arrow was great. We'll just go ahead and move on to Arrow. It was a bit sad.
Felicity, since the Felicity tie-in.
Yeah, Felicity,
Ray in Arrow provided the humor just like he did in Flash. I'll
be sad to see him go to his own show.
I know. He got that, which if you haven't known, they've announced that there is going to be an Atom spinoff.
Or more like a Justice League B-string spinoff.
That's what it sounds like, because there's going to be lots of other people.
Sarah Lance. Well, okay, the girl who played Sarah Lance will be in it. I don't know if she will be Sarah Lance.
Some people have said that she might be White Canary.
I have no idea who that is.
I looked it up and I still couldn't tell you who she is because she's not linked to the Canary that I can say. I don't know. Anyway. But there's conjecture about what it's going to be. But it does sound like it's shaping up to be a Justice League.
They're going to do Cadmus. That would be cool.
That would be cool. But this was kind of a lot of stuff happened.
So at the end of the last Arrow episode, just as a refresher, because we didn't have an episode last week, as Ollie is being carted away by the police, Roy decides to turn himself in the Arrow costume, so they have to release Ollie and take Roy to jail instead.
and he signs a confession and fesses up to killing the cop and you know, the whole 9 yards.
Right.
So he's in prison.
So he's in like Iron Heights lockup, like for reals,
awaiting trial.
Right.
Yeah. Which I have to say, I'm just going to put it out there, even for a CW show, I felt it kind of took me out of it that he was not in solitary.
Yeah, like I feel like you put a vigilante in solitary.
Especially,
like he's in general population in Iron Heights, which is like a maximum security prison, while awaiting trial. I feel like that's because even with a confession, there's a trial.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's not a thing.
The DA would absolutely the DA would
especially,
make sure that he was in solitary.
Especially before the trial, right? Like, we want a full conviction. He needs to live to the damn court date for that.
So that kind of took me out of it.
Yeah.
I feel like they could... Okay. Let's just talk about the rest of the episode. He basically gets shivved and fakes his death.
Right.
So that way that everyone
with the help of Dig.
Yeah. So everyone thinks that the Arrow is dead, so Ollie can go free and can continue to do his thing.
As
in a
we
different
don't know
guise. We don't know how. But so I feel like they could have still had him fake his death, but still be in solitary.
Maybe we'll do like Greenpeace-y stuff. Right? Like we'll do Greenpeace Ollie.
I want to see hippie Ollie so bad.
Well, like in a lot of comics, like Oliver Queen, everyone knows that he's the Green Arrow.
Yeah, yeah.
And so like. Yeah, I mean,
I want to see goatee hippie Ollie.
I don't think we're ever going to get goatee.
Probably not.
Oh, sorry. I totally just cracked my knuckles right into the microphone.
But yeah. So and Roy goes on his way.
His merry way in his red Charger Challenger, whatever.
So off to meet Starfire and
off to meet
and Todd.
I don't know where life will lead me. I'm like, I do. It will lead you to Jason Todd, who is awesome as fuck, and Starfire, who's totally gonna have a fling with you. It's gonna be great, and you're gonna go to different galaxies. You're gonna stop using lame bows. You're gonna be the only person in the DC universe that can pull off a trucker hat.
Yep.
End of the story.
Yep.
You're gonna be happy and live on an island in the middle of the South Pacific.
That's my headcanon. Unless they bring him back into the show, that's my headcanon.
I'm sure they will.
I'm sure they will.
Actually, I would be surprised very much if they did not bring him into the Adam show.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he'll probably make some appearances. But the other big reveal, Ollie has said, I can't really do, I don't know what I'm gonna do now. And Roz, because I refuse to say Raz or whatever they say on the show. Raish.
They say both on them. It depends on who you're talking to.
Roz comes into Thea's house and just spears her, just like absolute brutal. I have to say though, like that was a really good. I felt that was a good fight scene.
Yeah.
Because for you, even if he's toying with her, like
which he clearly was.
Like she showed that she had some training. If it was not, the demon head, who knows what would have happened. But I am going to be so pissed off if this does not lead us to the Lazarus pit, because he even said the word resurrection in his little Arabic thing. So Lazarus.
Well, the other big thing, which you actually didn't put in our notes, was that the metahuman from the primary villain,
the one-off villain of the episode,
who I don't actually know if he has a name, honestly.
Laser beam eye.
Yeah, dude. So he shoots laser beams out of his eyes. He basically takes in light energy, photon energy, I suppose, and emits lasers from his eyes. Which I have to say sounds somewhat Kryptonian.
It does.
And at the end of the episode, they discover that he wasn't anywhere near Central City when the particle accelerator exploded.
So they're opening it up
to other metas, maybe alien metas, or individual accident metas that aren't strictly from Central City.
So I thought that was
which really, I think also kind of opens. I think maybe is like a little bit of groundwork laying for Supergirl.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like it's all the same team that's doing Supergirl, even if it's not on the same channel.
Yeah, it's all the same production crew. major production companies and stuff.
I really hope
it would
they
be
let
awesome
crossovers happen.
It would be
so
awesome.
So much. Like, there's an episode of Justice League, the cartoon, where Green Arrow and Supergirl, I think it's Green Arrow and Supergirl, like go off into like another. I can't remember if they travel in time or they go to another dimension, and like Supergirl decides to stay there, and like it's about her being grown up and mature because she's just a teen in that series. And actually, I think it's in Justice League Unlimited. That's what it is. And it's a really good episode, and they have really good chemistry because he's like, sage, I've lived on the streets most of my life, Oliver Queen, talking to Supergirl. Yeah. Like, I really hope there's crossovers. I do.
I would not hold my breath.
I would not. I'm not holding my breath. Yeah. Not gonna.
But it would be awesome.
It would be super
and they
awesome.
did kind of, in a roundabout way. I think they've opened the door for that possibility.
Yeah.
If the networks allow it.
I guess that's the question, though, right? That's honestly, other than Roy leaving, that's my biggest. That's the thing that actually caught me the most was that guy's not from Central City.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I completely forgot about it.
What does that mean for
the future of the show,
this universe? Right? Because this is effectively the DCU that we actually give a shit about.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also because we did see some kind of like sad Ray where he saw that maybe Felicity had some feelings.
Right.
So I'm wondering if that, because they've said very little about the Adam spinoff, like hard concrete stuff, other than people being cast. So my guess is that that's the way to open it up for Ray to go to another city that's having an issue with metahuman, something like that. So I think that's a good way to open the door for other possibilities.
Right.
And then our other superhero comic.
Superhero comic show. This segment is starting to get out of hand.
It is. We're gonna have to be selective.
We might have to start doing like TV as an episode unto itself.
Yeah. We watched 2 more episodes of Daredevil. They were both really good. I'm very happy with how the series is.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it too.
We watched Cutman and Rabbit in a Snowstorm.
Finally got the Wilson Fisk reveal.
Yeah.
Though I'm still waiting for someone to call them Kingpin.
Yeah. Well, I kind of enjoyed that. Even though going in knowing it's going to be the Kingpin, and even knowing who they had already cast for him,
he had a really
all that
good
kind
look.
of stuff.
I had actually talked to some friends who.
I still actually really enjoyed that the dude wasn't like, it's the Kingpin. That it's just like this kind of like, no, it's Wilson Fisk. Now let me impale myself on this. So he
oh my god, that was so intense.
Oh, that
like
was, yeah.
SVU.
That
is nothing on this guy.
Crazy. And then Cutman, I really enjoyed for a couple of reasons. One, I love the character of Claire already. She's been on the show like for 20 minutes tops.
Like, I don't know why, but I feel like she's kind of channeling Donna from Doctor Who. She's kind of that. She's kind of a little flippant, BS. And she's like, look, I signed an oath, and that's why I patched you up, and like. All this you're doing seems extremely fucked. Like
you're gonna die,
and you're trying to kill a cop. Like just chill out.
But I felt like just in her first episode, Cutman, I felt like I know who this person is. And the same way with Karen, it's a small cast. I really enjoy that they have two female characters on there that are fully drawn as the men. I really like that.
I like that Karen actually got her own like sort of piece of story. Like she's it's not just she's a goofy sidekick with Foggy and that's it, right? Yeah. Like she's getting character development, which I really like.
And I feel like, I mean, I know it's silly to be like, I feel like these, are real, but I feel like this is how real people would react in these situations.
Yeah.
Like, I really enjoyed in Cutman that Karen kind of had like a little bit of PTSD from waking up in her apartment with a dead body. You know,
right.
she doesn't wake up the next day and she's fine with
right.
it. You know,
right.
Lois Lane would be in therapy for the rest of her life with what, you know, like all these henchmen. You know, I feel like it admitted, you know, some humanity, but then she decides to take steps from that to, you know, not necessarily protect her. In fact, it's going to put her in a lot of danger going to a journalist.
But I think it also really kind of solidifies her as part of like
she's a hero too. She's a good guy.
Right. Like I feel like at some point she's likely going to find out about Matt and Yeah.
Well, I know you don't follow them on Facebook. I really think you should. Internet, you should follow them too. But there's texts from superheroes. And there's, you know, it pretends that they're superheroes texting back and forth. And is it Jessica Jones?
Yeah.
Okay. There's one where
I have no idea who the hell that is.
I don't know who she is either. But she's Jessica Jones texting Matt Murdock. No, she's getting a TV show.
Oh.
And she's like, hey, Matt, you know, everybody knows you're Daredevil, right? And he's like, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. She's like, dude, your mask doesn't have eye holes. You're a blind lawyer. You're the only blind lawyer. And you're cut. You know, like, you're ripped. Everyone knows it's you.
Yeah.
So for Karen to not be an idiot.
Yeah.
She's eventually going to figure it out. But I really enjoyed both scenes. That final fight scene in Cutman, we both thought very
like Old Boy.
Very reminiscent of the original Old Boy, which is a very intense movie. If you have not seen it, it's very weird. There are parts that kind of drag, but there are some intense fight scenes in it.
Right.
And I feel like that hall scene kind of harkened back to, you know, was like a nod to that.
Well, I mean, just on the surface of it, I really liked that he was tired.
Yeah.
Like, he was beat up when he went in there, and he didn't just, like, you know,
knock
go
everybody
superhero.
Out
knock everybody out in a single punch. People got back up. He was leaning against the wall if he wasn't punching someone, like, breathing heavy.
Yeah. Like, you're using the wall to push off of to get leverage for that extra punch. Like, it looked, I mean, he has clearly got some kind of healing or pain tolerance or something. You know, he has a power subset. This is not, you know, just a strong guy. But still, even though he clearly has some superhero powers, you know, it's still, I feel like this is drawing on the humanity a lot. You know, like this is even if people have abilities, this is a human story. This is, you know, we've talked about it. He's street level. You know, he's street level. And I feel like that's the real strength of this series. Right. Is that, you know, like in the
he's the everyday vigilante taking care of street crime.
One of the bad guys was like, yeah, well, if he had a magic hammer or a metal suit, you know, like these very small nods to the Avengers, you know, because the Avengers don't even affect people on a normal level. Right. You know, they're just superheroes and action figures come to life. Yep. Daredevil is like everyday, very nitty gritty,
cleaning up a shitty neighborhood.
Yeah,
like that's basically it. Yeah. That's the basic premise.
Yeah, and I really enjoy it, and I feel like Daredevil, I wish the people at DC would watch it because it is most assuredly grimdark. There's still light in it, but there's still humor, and it's still an enjoyable show to watch. Right. You know, I don't think I could sit down and watch all of it in one day because it is a little intense.
I did enjoy Claire's remark about you got to get some body armor or something.
Yeah.
So I'm hopeful to see a suit soon as opposed to just, you know,
in the
black
series.
Sweat, you know, black spandex exercise outfit.
Yeah. Need something with a little bit more protection.
Yeah.
But yeah, really enjoying it. Looking forward to finishing up that series as well.
Right. And I guess on to our last bit of news. We're going to talk about some games. Actually, first, we're going to talk about a deal Jessica and I struck last night. Yes. Jessica is going to... So Jessica has a TV priority, as we can see. And I have a games priority, which you have all seen is generally a very short portion of our show. And so I think when TV starts winding down and we don't have, Arrow and Flash to go on every week, and, we'll basically only have Game of Thrones and Daredevil, and even Daredevil won't last that long.
Yeah.
Jessica's going to start playing some games. She plays games not very irregularly.
I play them in very short, intense spurts.
Yeah, she'll play like a bunch for like a month and then not play another game for like 8 to 9 months. And I think it's actually been like almost a year since she's played anything but Minecraft.
Yeah.
Minecraft almost doesn't count because I forced her to play with me. She doesn't really play by herself much.
No, I did at the beginning.
So anyway, we're gonna pick a game for Jessica to play. So if you guys have suggestions, list them in the comments below, and we'll see what we have.
And streaming is a possibility.
Streaming is a possibility. I was not aware that streaming was a possibility. And in return, I'm going to go and watch Orphan Black, which is something Jessica desperately wants me to do.
You have to watch it, Internet. Oh my God, you have to watch it.
We're breaking the fourth wall. You're supposed to be talking to me.
You have to watch it because the show has to keep getting made. And Tatiana Mansley, is that how you say your last name? I always put the S in the wrong place.
I'm very impressed
needs an Emmy. She needs an Emmy.
I'm impressed with her, with the idea of what she does.
It's amazing.
4 to 5 characters at a time.
So you find this out, I'm pretty sure in the first episode the C word is mentioned. Tatiana...
C word?
I'm about to get to that.
Okay.
Tatiana Mansley, Orphan Black, a woman who is basically from the wrong side of the tracks, been in trouble with the law all her life, not an upstanding citizen.
Sure.
Sees a woman commit suicide, and this woman that she sees commit suicide is her. It's her mirror image.
Do you see what's happening?
I know I'm taking over the games portion, and I don't care.
Yep.
Because I'm passionate about this show. And so she gets drawn into a circle and gets drawn into this mess and finds out that she is a clone. And so the actress that I'm speaking of plays all of the clones. It's pretty impressive technical stuff because the scenes where she's playing against herself are completely seamless. Like, you would not know it. There are moments in time that I genuinely do forget that I'm watching the same woman play 2 characters at a time, which is pretty effing amazing. Like, this woman does not get the credit that she deserves, which is one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about this. Season 3 started tonight, so I will be buying it on Amazon and watching it tomorrow, and Matt can just catch up whenever he catches up. But yeah, if you have a game that you would like to perhaps watch me either live stream or highlight reel play.
And what we're really looking for is some really in-depth storytelling game.
Those are the games that I enjoy.
We're not looking for a Jessica Scream Fest with Outlast, though we have talked about doing that already anyway.
Yeah, we have.
Just for shenanigans' sake.
And I tend to get very vulgar when I play games.
Yes, she does. And she's awful at platforming, which is actually super entertaining for me.
So it will most assuredly be rated M for mature, because I tend to get very vulgar when I'm having a rough time in games.
I kind of want you to play Shadows of Mordor. It's hard a time as I'm having with that game. It's wonderful, but man, it's hard.
So basically, this week, no new releases that are on the possibilities.
Yeah, Shovel Knight is coming out on PS4. It's been out for months on PC. Yeah. It's a great game. You should go pick it up.
But it's been out.
It's been out for if you wanted to play it that bad, you probably have played it already. And So the big news in games this week was actually from our last week's release was Mortal Kombat. And Mortal Kombat apparently has lots of microtransactions, even such that you can.
Tick me off. Oh, it would make me so angry.
So much. You can actually buy easy fatalities, which apparently are quite easy already. I haven't actually played that much. You can buy 30 easy fatality tokens for $5. Now, when I first saw this picture, it was like a screen cap of like the PlayStation Store or something, and I was like, I don't understand what that 30x is for, because I assumed that for $5 I would get to do the easy fatalities forever. It would just be like an option that was unlocked in my settings.
When I first saw it, I was like, they really have enough characters that they, like, I was thinking, like, for these 30 characters, you have easy fatalities.
No,
and
like, there's...
That's a whole lot of characters.
There's also multiple fatalities for each character. I think almost every character has 2. I think actually every character has 2, and some of them have 3.
So I was thinking like, okay, you get 12 characters fatalities.
What this is literally 30 instances of you doing a singular fatality. Yeah. There are people out there who are really pissed that this exists at all, because fatalities are a display of skill and, affect gameplay. It's a demoralizing thing, I guess, if you're going through multiple rounds, right?
I can definitely see that.
I can see that a little bit. I think it's ridiculous. I can't believe they're selling 30. I can't believe they've tokenized it and are selling tokens for easy. I would love to see. I want to see the market info on that. Like, are they selling this? Are people buying this? This seems ridiculous. There was a number of other issues with Mortal Kombat's release. Apparently, PC version just didn't function like at all. You could only play like the single fight, and that was it. Like, even some of the characters and training were not available. It was just a kind of a catastrophe. And so,
not a great launch.
Not a great launch for hopefully what will be a pretty great game. Well, that's us for this week.
Let us know in the comments if there's any. Sorry about that.
It's our old people alarm.
Let us know if there's any news stories you want to hear about, anything that we talked about this week that you want us to revisit. Let us know in the comments here or on Facebook.
You can let us know through all the normal social media means. You can tweet me at BearMonk1.
And I'm at Cerebral Lunch. Or you can even use the hashtag FinalFamily.
Yeah, I used it one time.
Yeah. It's exclusive. It's an exclusive hashtag.
It's not exclusive at all. I actually checked earlier, and there's some random guy who's...
I'm being funny.
I know.
It's exclusive because not many people have used it.
It's super exclusive. 2 people have used it. One guy's even used it more than I have. As always, a comment or a like is much appreciated.
Even to subscribe, so then you can, have this in a handy dandy, you don't even have to think about it list on the side of your screen.
All right, folks. Well, we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Be happy.